Ontario Premier Doug Ford announced the suspension of a controversial 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the United States. The decision came after diplomatic activity between Ottawa and Washington. Ford had enacted the surcharge targeting electricity to Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. This was a retaliatory measure against U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods. The suspension signals a potential thaw in trade tensions. However, the situation remains fluid with key questions unanswered. Will the U.S. reciprocate by lifting its own tariffs? Only time will tell if this is a step toward resolution or merely a pause in the conflict. The current trade dispute is rooted in a series of tit-for-tat tariff impositions. The Trump administration, known for its protectionist trade policies, had slapped tariffs on a range of Canadian goods. These included a 25% tariff on various products from Canada and Mexico. The tariffs were part of Trump's broader America First agenda. Canada, in response, imposed retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods. Ontario, a major electricity exporter, entered the fray. Premier Ford initially hesitated to implement retaliatory measures. Pressure from his party led to a change in strategy. A 25% surcharge on electricity exports was announced. Ford argued the move was necessary to protect Ontario jobs. The surcharge was projected to generate significant revenue, but risked further trade tensions. Ford's decision to suspend the electricity surcharge just days after its implementation can be seen as a strategic move to create a more favorable environment for negotiations. His meeting with Lutnick and the Trump administration is crucial. It presents an opportunity to address the underlying trade issues and hopefully find common ground. The meeting also highlights the complex political dynamics at play. Ford, despite his previous alignment with Trump's policies, has shown a willingness to stand up to the U.S. president when he believes Canadian interests are at stake. The White House's reaction to Ford's overture has been cautious. While there have been no official statements regarding the lifting of U.S. tariffs, the very fact that the meeting is taking place suggests a willingness to engage in dialogue. Some analysts speculate that the Trump administration, facing criticism from U.S. businesses hurt by the trade war, might be open to a compromise. Others caution against reading too much into the suspension of the surcharge, arguing that Trump is unlikely to back down without significant concessions from Canada. The outcome of the Ford-Lutnick meeting has significant implications for both the Canadian and U.S. economies. The trade dispute has already created uncertainty and volatility in the markets. Businesses on both sides of the border are feeling the pinch. In Ontario, the manufacturing sector, heavily integrated with the U.S. economy, has been particularly hard hit by the tariffs. The province also faces potential economic fallout from retaliatory measures by the U.S. if the trade war continues to escalate. For the U.S., the tariffs have led to higher prices for consumers and businesses. This is especially true in states like Michigan and Minnesota, which rely on Canadian imports. The trade dispute also threatens to disrupt supply chains and undermine economic growth. The longer the trade war drags on, the more pronounced the economic consequences will be for both countries. The meeting between Ford and Lutnick represents a critical juncture. It remains to be seen whether it will mark the beginning of a resolution or a further escalation of the trade war. One thing is certain, the stakes are high, and the outcome will have lasting impacts on the U.S.-Canada relationship.